guys, I'm Aussie and welcome to the monthly update for end of September, beginning of October. I can never remember if I name it after the month that's just been or the month that's upcoming. But anyway, today it's hopefully not going to be too long, but a little bit longer because I do want to discuss my FM20 plans and get some feedback on that. I want to sort of discuss the end of FM19 and Twitch, and also Out of the Park Baseball and sort of where we go with that as well. So a lot to get through, so I don't want to waste too much time here, but in terms of the channel analytics, just very, very quickly, it's the dark old days, September, October, everything tends to fall off quite a bit. There's the overview. You can see views are down, watch time is down, everything's down a little bit, but that's fine. The reach, again, impressions are down, impression click-through is down, that's fine. It's this time of year. Engagement. What I do like, now the reason that it's down is because a lot of my views, you can see there, it's my tutorials that sort of are the lifeblood, I guess, of the channel. I think that's how a lot of you discovered me, and that's my hope is that obviously, hopefully my hope is that the tutorials are helpful, but then that people will sort of see that and then come and sort of see what else that I do. So with the views for tutorials going down, what I'm really, really happy about is that the average duration of the view time is continuing to go up, because that means that people that aren't, because when you watch a tutorial, I do the same thing, you just kind of skip through, especially if you've seen it before, for the bit you're looking for, and then you just kind of watch that again and then go back and sort of do what you were doing. So as the tutorial views are dropping off, which is expected, the average duration is going up, because that means people are just sitting there and basically watching the series that I put out for as long as they want to watch it. So really, really happy with that. That sort of fills me with a lot of hope that people are enjoying the actual series that I do as well. The audience, you can see there, average views per viewer. Subscribers are down, but again, it's Football Manager. It's the wrong time of the year. You can see, I really wish, and it's the people that are watching this are subscribed, but it's really frustrating, like 70% of the people that watch my channel aren't subscribed. It's like, I could have so many subscribers if people would subscribe. But thank you, because I know you guys have, because that's 20 to have 25%, that's still pretty good, so I'm not complaining too much. Revenue, it's obviously going to be down. We're still paying for ourselves, which is good between this and Patreon. So happy with that. Yeah, so but that kind of, as I said, this time of year, it just kind of, it is what it is. You can see there the monthly revenue, it goes down. That's just what happens. Now, just quickly with the Patreon, and I have forgot to open this up, there hasn't been really anything that's changed too much. I don't want to bang on about it. If there's something that everyone knows what Patreon is, if there's someone that does want to support the channel beyond what you already do, fantastic, thank you. No, I don't want to look at your new features. There's a link down in the description, but still the 5 Patreons, which is amazing, so thank you so much to them. But that sort of, I didn't want to waste too much time on the channel analytics this month, because I know that it's going down, and it's probably not of greatest interest to you all. What I do want to discuss, though, is the plans for Football Manager moving forward. Okay, so we'll start quickly with the end of FM19. My plan here, as we know, right now there's 3 series going. There's the Everton series, there is the Hearts series, and of course the Bali United series that we just started as well. My plan is to continue with Hearts and Bali on YouTube right through until, basically until the beta comes out. We'll sort of end it at an appropriate time once a new Football Manager is coming out. My plan for the Everton series is to finish this current season and then move that over to Twitch. Now, my Twitch link is down in the description if you want to go into it. I think there's 5 followers there already, which is pretty good. Thank you guys, considering I haven't done anything on Twitch yet. I am actively now shopping for a second monitor, which would then allow me to do Twitch properly. So my hope is that by the end of this current Everton season that we're in, I'll have that all sorted out, I'll have my act together, and then we'll basically do that over on Twitch. My plan for when we do it, I'm thinking Saturdays, because cricket season's finished now, so I'm thinking Saturdays, maybe during Soccer Saturday, like the 3 o'clock kickoffs is probably a good time, between, say, 3 and 5 or 6 or 2 and 5 or something like that. I think that's a pretty good time, and I'm thinking maybe Sunday afternoons, maybe while the games are going on again, say between 4 and 6 or something along those lines. And then maybe at times during the week, let me know what your thoughts are on that. Let me know on just any times. But I think Saturdays and Sundays on the weekends during the Premier League games is probably a good time to do it. We can kind of have it going in the background as well, kind of fill each other in on scores. And then maybe, I think to actually do Twitch and be affiliated or whatever it is that you do, I think you need to do 3 times a week. So then I probably look to do a midweek, maybe a Friday night Twitch, something along those lines. But let me know your feedback on times for that. But that's what I'm thinking for the end of FM19. Now for what we're all sorted about, FM20. What are my plans for that? So FM20, okay. So I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking for FM20. For YouTube, I think I want to do one long-term save. So think like a journeyman style thing. I have ideas. It's something that we go into like the hundreds of episodes. And then I'm thinking I want to have one other short-term one. Now by short-term, I'm thinking something like we're doing with the first star. I did kind of fall down a little bit on that this year with Everton because we've just basically kept going because we've been having fun with it. But so one sort of short-term save, and then I'm thinking I'll have one series on Twitch as well. What I think I found this year is that having the 3 series plus the baseball going hasn't given me much of a life outside of Football Manager, which is, I enjoy it, which is fine. But just sometimes I wish I could just sit down and just watch a movie or play Xbox or read a book. I don't know. Go out outside of cricket, just things like that. So I not that I want to sort of do less, but I think I need to be more realistic with what I can do in the time I have. So I'm thinking one long-term save, one short-term save sort of ongoing, and then that'll obviously change up over time, and then a save on Twitch as well. Now, my thoughts for series. The sort of thing I have enjoyed doing the first star. Sort of winning the Champions League with a club for the first time. So we did Arsenal right at the start of FM19, and then we've done Everton. And then, like I say, we should have gone to another club, and we just didn't. We ended up just staying with Everton. So I'm thinking for clubs like that, I mean, the obvious ones, we could do Spurs, but I don't know how much fun Tottenham will be, given that they're already in the Champions League. I'm thinking teams like West Ham, like Crystal Palace. Maybe if we drop down, do someone like Sheffield Wednesday or Leeds. Newcastle would be a fun one, I think, this year as well. Those sorts of teams, I think I have. So the first star style save, it could go to Europe as well. Someone like Fiorentina, Lyon maybe in France, things like that. So that's sort of one idea for a short-term save. I'm really enjoying the heart save. The idea of like knocking a team off their perch. Now, one suggestion that I did have was 1860 Munich and trying to topple over Bayern Munich, sort of the kings of Munich. There is an appeal of that to me, I have to say, because 1860 right now are in the third tier of the German football. Other ideas that I had is something like winning in Portugal or Spain with one of the smaller teams. So obviously in Portugal you wouldn't be Porto, Benfica or Sporting, you'd be somebody else. Spain, you probably wouldn't be one of the Madrid clubs or Barcelona, you'd be somebody else. And you probably wouldn't do Sevilla or Valencia, one of the sort of the smaller teams. Top of my head, someone like, I don't know, maybe Villarreal, someone like, who else is down the bottom there? The sort of teams I'm talking about, sort of the lesser Spanish teams. So yeah, the idea, but as I said, I've really, really enjoyed the heart save. I mean, we could even go back to Scotland and do another team in Scotland, perhaps. Now, my idea for a long-term save, well, actually, the other idea for sort of a shorter-term save is like the idea of a rebuild. Now, the obvious one for that this season is Bolton, isn't it? Because they are really struggling. I think there's going to be a lot of people doing Bolton on YouTube and Twitch as well, to be honest. But it is a good challenge considering the points deduction, no players. I mean, it's a unique challenge this year, something that you'd almost set up as like a scenario sort of on another game. So the idea of outside of Bolton for a rebuild, I can't think of. I mean, Barry would be another one. We don't really know what's going to happen with Barry yet in the game. So yeah, but the idea of a rebuild, which is kind of similar, I guess, to First Star in concept, but that would be a shorter term. It would be a longer, shorter term, I guess, but it would be fine. The problem that I have, and I've got to sort of, because as I've said before, ideally, like down the line, I'd like to make this my full-time job. The problem that I need to sort of balance out is that to get subscribers, to get people to the channel, it needs to be like bigger clubs, and it tends to need to be English clubs as well. That's what, because people will search that, and that's what will pick up traction. But I don't just want to do, I mean, I don't like doing like Liverpool, Man United. I think I did a Manchester United beta save this year. I might do something similar. If you have an idea for a beta save, maybe a year at Manchester United and see if what we can do with them this year, because last year we had a pretty good year with them. Yeah, so it's kind of balancing between having, like the bigger English, Scottish clubs. Hearts has been pretty successful as well, and I've enjoyed it, but I think we've picked up a few Hearts fans along the way. So I need to kind of balance that and sort of the reality of needing to keep the channel growing, and then the fun of sort of being a smaller team. And if you followed right at the start of FM19 when we did the World Tour, it didn't work. It didn't work because I'm not big enough. Someone like like a Loki that can do the world tour because he already has 40,000 subscribers and people will watch it. It was fun, and I think the people that were watching it were enjoying it. But when I'm getting 9 viewers, it doesn't really work as sort of as to help grow the channel. So I need to sort of balance the two. So for longer term saves, I've got 2 ideas. The first up is sort of like a minnows to champions kind of idea. Now, I tried to do this back, like a personal save, like years ago, with Bala Town in the Welsh League, and try and win the Champions League with a team like Bala Town. I'd love to revisit Bala Town, but I know as far as the Welsh League goes, they're relatively competitive, so maybe you want to go a little bit further down. But whether it be trying to win the Champions League with a Welsh team or a Northern Irish team, an Irish team, you could maybe, who else could you do? Iceland, maybe. You could do like the custom databases when they get up and running as well, I guess. But someone like go from a really, really small league, so it becomes kind of like a build the nation as well. Yeah, so that's one idea that I had. And the other one is obviously like the non-league up. So whether we do like a team in sort of the conference north or south, or even just the conference national, and then take them up to try and win the Champions League with them. It's a little bit easier. I mean, it's a little bit easier easier in that you're still an English club. So as you go up, you're going to get more money. Whereas doing it was sort of like a Welsh team or an Irish team, you don't have, you kind of have to, do it organically without the prize money and TV money that comes in England. So that was one idea I had. It's sort of the long-term save is really, starting at the bottom and working up. And the other one I had an idea of is sort of like a follow in a manager's footsteps. So basically do their career path. So whether it be someone like, like a Neil Warnock, a Big Sam, Roy Hodgson, Sven-Goran Eriksson, even like a Harry Redknapp, though I would refuse to do the Birmingham City part of that. And just sort of start where they start at the bottom and work your way through. Now, I think the fun of this, especially if you're someone like Roy Hodgson, where you would get to Liverpool, so basically you'd be at a club and you would stay there until the next job came up, you'd apply for it, and then we'd have to accept it. So where that could become fun is you could be like, say, Roy Hodgson, where you're at Liverpool. When do you go after Liverpool? So, but or he's at Inter Milan at one point as well, and then you'd have to sort of accept a job that was way worse, because that's kind of the next step in his career. So, I mean, there's a load. You could do it with Tony Pulis. You could do it with someone like Claudio Ranieri. There would be a bunch of different managers that you could do. And as I said, just follow their career path through. And, we could maybe skip international jobs because I know international isn't always the most popular. But, you could be at a club for like 6 months and then you'd have to move on to the next one. So that's another idea I had. But let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have any ideas as well, by all means, please do let me know, because I'm nothing set in stone yet. I'm still sort of looking for ideas. So that's my ideas for FM20. Now let's have a discussion about Out of the Park Baseball and sort of the other game that we will have on the channel. Okay, so Out of the Park Baseball. I always want to have another game going, partly just for my own sanity, so I don't get sick of playing Football Manager. I mean, I haven't got sick of it really since, what's it been, like 20-something years now. But that's also because I'll dip in and out of it and go and play other games if I'm, when I was just sort of just playing. Not that I'm not playing for fun now, but just sort of playing privately, I guess. So I do like to have another game going to keep, just as a change for me, as much as to try and sort of get other people into the channel as well. Out of the Park Baseball I've really, really enjoyed. Now my question is, I think the playoffs are starting. If they haven't already started, they're starting very soon. Do we keep going with baseball once the World Series is finished, or do we want to go and play another game? I kind of want. I enjoy and I kind of want to keep the theme of sort of like the management style. If you go way back in my playlist, you'll see there was an Age of Gladiators game where you kind of ran a gladiator school. I forget what they're called, but anyway, a gladiator school. And I had so much fun recording that, but nobody watched it, which was unfortunate because I could get dressed up in a toga. It was great. I had a great time. So if we don't want to keep going with Out of the Park Baseball, suggestions for other games. I know that there's like an ice hockey sort of version. I think there's an NFL version of Football Manager as well. There's loads of them out there, the sort of the management style. So let me know what suggestions for other ideas. I know a lot of, and it's not, Patreons are not something I expect, but I do know that I think most, if not all of my Patreons are via sort of the Out of the Park Baseball. That's what they started watching. So I do sort of I'll listen to you guys. I don't want to listen to you guys more, but I'm more. How do I say this? You deserve to have more of a say. Let's say, if you guys want to keep going with the baseball, we'll keep. Then I'll sort of weight your comments appropriately. But if everybody's we're looking for a change, there's nothing to say that we couldn't have two other games going. But then it gets a little bit sporadic. How many times a week do we play them? Do we have two and one or whatever? Because I think what my basic plan is to have like once. Sort of just Monday to Friday, and then maybe a video on Saturday as well. So it's kind of what we're doing now, but maybe just 2 videos a day instead of 3 on the baseball days. So we just alternate between the shorter term save and the other game. But let me know any suggestions that you have. I've got to admit, I'm not fully up to date on all the sort of with the different video games that come out all the time. There's some Planet Zoo games I did enjoy back in the day. What was it, Zoo Tycoon or something? I did enjoy that. So maybe something along the lines of that we could have some fun with. But yeah, I mean, I'm conscious this video is getting a little bit long at this point, but let me know your feedback, in the comments, what you'd like to see. Both FM19 is that's kind of what we're doing because we've only got about a month or so to go. But FM20 and the other game, whether it be Baseball Manager or otherwise, leave me your comments, guys. I really want the feedback. But until next time, I've been Aussie. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.